All right, well, today I'm going to be going through, and this is kind of the first test of the system, so I'm going to be live streaming today. My camera's a little wobbly because it's on top of my monitor right now. My monitor is not the most stable surface. Let's see. I'm not going to fix it for this video, but I am going to fix it in the future. So just be aware of that. So if you're experiencing some wobble in your image of me down there, then just be aware that that's going to go away. Um, so I'm just going to go ahead and do this as if there are people watching right now. Right now, I don't have any students with me. But if anybody joins, go ahead and say hello in the chat so that I can see you. I think that I see 2 viewers right now. So I'm just going to go through and just start working on our assignments. So this is pretty much going to be, I'm going to work through what you guys are going to be doing this week. And I'm just going to work straight through it. I'm going to watch the videos. I'm going to do the assignments. And then if you guys have questions as we go along, then I'll be happy to answer those questions. So the first thing is how we navigate to the assignment. So you want to make sure that you are going to your Google Classroom, right? And then under our posted assignment, you're going to see this Code High School thing. And so on your view, it'll look a little bit like this here. Let me switch to student view. Okay, so I've got web design here, right? So I've already watched that first video. So it's kind of the introduction to HTML, and like what the announcer goes through, he actually talks about how HTML is how the web is designed and built. So I've already watched the video, so I'm going to go ahead and take the quiz real quick. And that looks like a tag. Okay, the H1 tag in the formatting section. So I'm not a huge fan of the block style, so I'd rather just write it. Well, I'm not really a huge fan of this. So let's see, switch to code view. So I'm going to do this in the code view because this is how you're actually going to see it when you go to actually make your own HTML page, right? So we're just going to run this code, and you see that it creates this hello statement over here. So if I change this to welcome we see that we can actually see a difference here. So that's pretty cool. If you feel like you need to use blocks, use the blocks. But in my opinion, it's a lot easier if you start learning using the tags themselves. So I can say, and the tags are pretty much bookends, right? So you say it starts, and then what was my assignment here? It wanted us to create something, create a web page to introduce yourself to. Okay, so this is very similar to what I just did. So I would say, my name is Mr. Fox. It's good to meet you. All right, and see, this is exactly how HTML will generate. So you see, if you go over here and you generate your own page, it'll actually creates a web page, right? So this is something that we could actually inspect. So if I were to inspect this, I would see that this is exactly a web page, right? So I only have my one page here that actually does anything, but it's there, right? So I have HTML, I have my header, I have my body, right? And this is a web page. This is an honest to God web page. So we're going to submit. Uh-oh. Hello. My name is Mr. Fox. So now let's submit and continue. All right, great. All right, so then we're on to the next page. So that was 4.1. Now this is 4.2.
Hi. In this video, we'll be talking about the structure of an HTML page. So here's an example of a simple web page. We see that up in the browser tab, this web page has a title. It says My First Web Page. And on the actual page, we have the phrase hello. Now suppose we were trying to write the HTML document that creates this web page. We have the text My First Web Page and we have the text hello. Now, how can we tell the browser that we actually want the My First Web Page text to go up in the browser tab, and we want the hello text to actually appear on the page? Well, it turns out HTML has plenty of tags that help us tell the browser where we want the text to go. We have tags that can define the structure of the HTML page. So here is the skeleton for a basic HTML page. And there's a lot going on here, so let's break this down tag by tag and see what each tag is doing. So here we have the doc type. Doc type tells the browser which version of HTML we are using. So this tag says that we're using HTML5. Note that this is not an actual HTML tag. This is just a comment at the top of the file telling the browser which version of HTML we're using. You'll need this at the top of all of your HTML pages. Next we have the HTML tag. The HTML tag says that everything between the opening and closing tag is our HTML page. The HTML tag is the container for all other tags. Our entire page is going to go inside of the HTML tag. Now we have the head tag. The head tag contains important information about the document. It contains metadata. So metadata is data that describes data. So the head is data about the actual page. It's not the page itself, it's just information about the page. And there's a few special tags we can include in here. Specifically, we can include the title. So the title tag defines the title of the web page. This is data about the web page. It's describing it. This is the title. So the title is actually displayed in the top of the web browser inside the tab. Down here we have the body tag. Now the body tag is where the actual content for the document goes. The text, the images, everything on your actual web page, it goes inside the body tag. And this is where most tags. Second is that we use indenting to show the structure of the tags, to show which tags are inside of which other tags. And lastly, the structure of an HTML document can be described as a tree. And you'll see what I mean by this in a second. First off, we see from this basic HTML template that tags can go inside other tags. We see that the head tag and the body tag are both inside the HTML tag. Also, we see that the title tag is in. We see that everything inside the head tag is indented one further. This helps us see the structure of the web page. It helps us see which tags are inside which other tags. And we can see that with the layout of these tags, the HTML page is actually laid out like a tree. At the very root of the tree, we have HTML. We have the HTML tag. Now, the HTML tag has two children. Now, if we were to start adding things inside the body, say the structure of the HTML document. So, if we want this HTML document to build this example web page, we're going to have to use this HTML structure. So first off, let's add the HTML tag to let the browser know the page. So, to split those up, we're going to make the head and the body tags. This says, hey, my first web page should not be displayed on the actual. We need to tell the browser what the my first web page is. Now for the hello, we can't just leave it right at the top of the web page and make it nice, big, and bold. Use from here on out. Let's see this in the editor. So now we're back in the Code.hs editor, and our goal here is to make a full web page with a title and a body. We want the title to say my first web page, and we want the actual page to say hello world. So first I'm gonna web page, and it says hello world inside the body. Now it's your turn.
And I'm gonna continue. Okay, and then I've got a little quiz here. Example of metadata. So metadata was information about the page itself, right? And so the title of the web page is going to be metadata. That's what we saw in the example. Okay, so HTML template, it has the following HTML elements. So this is the template, and so let's go. Again, I prefer you guys to use this actual code here, right? Don't the blocks. I'm not really a big fan of, so I'm gonna prefer that you guys stay away from the blocks. But this is still a good way to learn if you want to use the blocks. But this is how it'll actually be written on a web page. All right, so let's run the code and let's see. Page content goes here, right? And then we can see the HTML in a new window, right? Okay, and now let's continue. So that was our example. And then, this is very, very similar to that lesson one. So let's see. Classic Hello World. Okay, so the title is My First Web Page, and we have Hello World. We're going to run the code, and I want you guys to continually be clicking on this See HTML in a new window, right? That makes us much, much more informative, because what you see is that there actually is a title, My First Web Page, up here that appears. So that information is being used. I could change this to Mr. Fox's web page. And then what we're going to see, and as we run the code, right, if I were to see this in a new HTML window, I see that the title is Mr. Fox's webpage up here. So I've actually changed something about this website. And let's go ahead and continue. Okay, so we figured out the title tag, and then now we're going to use the title tag ourselves. Now remember, the title tag is metadata, so it's going to go where? In the head. Very good. Okay, so we're going to go in the head, and let's check the assignment again. It wants to say, welcome to the internet. So I'm going to include title, and then we will write, welcome to the internet. All right, great. And remember, that title tag is going to go in the head because it's part of the metadata. All right. Okay, so we're going to create a web page that's titled My First Web Page, and we're going to write in our favorite activity. Now, for me, I'm going to say that my favorite activity right now is driving, because I just got a brand new truck. If you look right outside, you can see it right there. I'm very excited about it, but right now my favorite activity is actually to drive. So let's go ahead and go in here. Now, wow, we have to create the entire thing ourselves, right? So we may want to go and look at our template, right? So I know that I need to use the HTML tag, because remember, the HTML tag includes everything within that, and then within that I need a head, and then I'm also going to need a body. Okay, now I feel pretty good. So now I'm going to use the title tag, and my title is going to be My First Web Page. Oh, and I made a mistake here. I need to finish this out. I need that to be title. And now my information is going to be outside of my tags here. So let's go ahead and move that. And we know that title belongs to head, so we have this indentation structure here that's really nice for us. Okay, so now I have my title in there. And then let's go ahead and see if this will work for the body. I love to drive my truck. All right, and then I'm hoping that this is going to work. So let's go ahead and run the code and see. All right, and then view it in a new HTML window, and I can see my first web page, right? It says, I love to drive my truck, and now let's see if it'll let me submit. Ooh, I have to set doc type to HTML. I don't know what a doc type is because I was skipping around. So the doc type I don't know about this. Okay, so let's go back here. File skeleton. Okay, so I have to add this doc type up here to the top. So this is the normal skeleton, right? So as you guys are doing these assignments, check around, right? Like if there's something that you don't know, a lot of the times it's right there at your fingertips. Docs tends to be really, really good because it'll give you all kinds of information that you need to be able to do these assignments. So now I know that I need a doc type, right? So I can come up here and it's going to be the very first thing in my HTML document. So okay, so now I have that declaration, and let's go back. We'll run our code, and we're going to submit. All right, cool, it worked, great. So let's move on. And then this is going to be our last lesson for today. So this is a start of 4.3. And again, I probably won't watch this whole video.
Hi. In this video, we'll be learning about formatting text on our HTML web pages. So we've been learning HTML, and right now we know how to build standard web pages, which is awesome. But now things are going to get a little bit better because we're going to add some style. That way our pages will look nicer, and it's going to attract a lot more visitors to our websites. So how are we going to add this style? Well, introducing HTML formatting. Turns out HTML provides several tags for us to format our text on our web pages. The first tag that lets us format text on our web pages is the P tag. Now P stands for a paragraph of text. So for example, if I had this HTML, paragraph 1 inside a P tag and then paragraph 2 inside a P tag, the result would look like this. Notice that there is an automatic line break or an automatic new line after a paragraph tag. If I were to take the paragraph tags out, then the resulting web page would end up looking like this, because in HTML, any new lines, any white space, are just interpreted as a space. So if we want paragraph 1 and paragraph 2 to be on separate lines, we can add back in the P tags and we separate out the paragraphs. So that's nice. HTML lets us separate out our paragraphs. Next we have the I tag, and the I tag stands for italicized. So this lets us italicize text. For example, if I wanted to really stress that something was important, I could put I tags around it, and it would show up as italic in the resulting web page. Next we have the B tag, which bolds text. For example, if I had I'll be back with back inside the B's, then back would show up as bold on the resulting web page. Next we have the HR tag. And this one's interesting. So HR stands for horizontal rule. Now the HR tag doesn't actually have a closing tag. We don't have a \HR tag. All we use is HR, and it creates a horizontal line on the screen. For example, say I had a paragraph above, then an HR tag, no closing tag, and then a below paragraph. The resulting web page would look like this. We have a nice horizontal bar across the entire web page. Now for line breaks. If we use the BR tag or the break tag, that makes a line break or a new line on the resulting web page. Now this is another weird one that doesn't have a closing tag. All we do is type BR, the BR tag, and we get a blank line on the screen. So for example, say I was trying to write out the address, P. Sherman, 42 Wallaby Way, Sydney, Australia. If I put all of that inside a paragraph, it ends up showing up on the same line because again, all white space in an HTML document gets displayed as single spaces in the resulting web page. Even if I added a bunch of extra lines after P. Sherman, it just gets interpreted as a single space. So if I want to have new lines, I need to put in BRs. I need to put in line breaks. So if I put in these BRs, I'll actually get a new line after each line, resulting in a nice looking address. Again, BR stands for line break. Lastly, we have headings. We've already seen H1, but there's also H2, H3, H4, H5, and H6. And as the numbers get bigger, the heading gets smaller. So H1 is the largest heading, and H6 is the smallest heading. These headings are nice if we want to put titles above paragraphs or just separate out the document with headings. So another nice thing is that since we can put HTML tags inside of other tags, also known as nesting the tags, we can apply multiple styles to the same text. So sized. So to recap, we have P for paragraph, I for italic, the B tag for bold, HR for horizontal rule, or just a flat line across the screen, BR for a line break, and the headings H1 through H6 for large to small heading. Now, this page has all the information we need, but unfortunately, when we actually look at the page, it is just unreadable. It has all the information we need, but it's not presented in a way that's easy for the user to see. I still want it to be big, but
So what he's going through here is why style is important, right? Like having all the information is nice, but you really need to be able to read it, right? As a human, you like to be able to read things. So to do that better, that's why we have all these tags to help us make it more readable, right? So what he's about to do is he's about
definitely a little smaller. So let's make this an H5. And down here we have where we pulled the source, dictionary.com. And you know what, let's see, change a little bit, run it, change a little bit, run it again, italic.
So it makes the web page look a lot neater.
Its own paragraph. Ooh, I don't know how that got there.
And I'm just going to skip to the end here. And we'll see how
Formatting tags. Now it's your turn to try it out.
I was just going through an example there, which is pretty much what I'm about to do for you. Okay, so let's take our little quiz. The BR for break, right? So that is a breaker. It creates a line break. It doesn't create the horizontal line. Horizontal line was the horizontal rule, HR, right? So this is going to be a line break here. That probably means break rule, thinking about it. All right. So this is the example that he was working on, right? And as you see, you get this nice HTML window. And again, what's important is that we look over here and we actually explore this. So when we look at this and we inspect it, it actually has all of these elements that they were talking about. Now, there's a little bit of difference here, right? Because he's got his JavaScript right there that kind of pulls us in there. But what's great is that all of these things that it's talking about are in here, right? So we've got all of our line break tags. We've got all of our formatting, right? So we have all of that. Now there's a little bit of extra stuff up here that we don't understand yet, right? Because we don't know anything about JavaScript, but we will at some point. We won't really hit that too hard in this course, but you guys can explore JavaScript later. And there's a really cool extension activity that I included over video game design in Java programming. So in JavaScript programming. So if you guys are interested in JavaScript after this, go ahead and check those exercises out. All right, so back over here, we went through our example. That's bold. Okay, so let's practice using our stuff. Okay, this website was made with HTML tag. We want to bold the word HTML. We want to italicize the word website. All right, let's go. Okay, so bold, I know the tag is B. Oh, and it's going to give me my end tag, but I'm just going to come over here and remember the end tag. Normally will appear for you, but if you do what I just did, then that works as well. And then the assignment. Oh, wait, I am bolding the wrong thing. So let's go ahead and go back and add my tag there. I'm just going to cut and paste this, the other side of HTML, and then I'm going to italicize the word website. So and again, these tags are just how you tell it, hey, things between these tags, we're going to do this thing to. So let's go ahead and run the code. This website was made with HTML. And let's see if it likes my response. All right, it liked my response. So let's go ahead and move on to the next one. All right, artificial intelligence. Okay. Make each board game name bold. Make each AI game name italic. And then put horizontal bars between each section. All right, well, that sounds pretty simple. Okay, so I need to find out. So we have all these nice breaks in here already, right? But I want to put a line in between each section. So I'm just going to go ahead and do that first. So there's that tag. So I'm identifying the in-betweens of the paragraphs, right? So like I noticed that there was a paragraph break here and a paragraph break here. So I just went ahead and put those lines in there. We'll see if that's all that it wanted, was only 2 lines. It also wanted us to, let's go ahead and look at our assignment again, make each board game name bold. So checkers needs to be bold. Okay. Chess needs to be bold. And this part is really annoying here. X. Oh, you know what? I'm just going to copy this, and then next time, let's see. Okay, and then go, that's going to be the B tag. Get rid of that. And end that. So now I have bold, and then make each AI name italic. Okay, so that's that one. It's almost more annoying to edit it than it is to do it for yourself the first time. Deep blue. These are all really cool machines that won these games. So AlphaGo is a very recent one. People always thought that Go could never be played by a computer. Oh, that's probably one of my neighbors rolling in right there. You guys can hear that engine. Okay. All right, now let's see what it looks like. So I needed every one of the games to be bold. I needed these to be italicized, right? And then I needed to have those line breaks. So let's go ahead and see. Well, hey there, that looks pretty good to me. Let's see if it likes it. All right, cool, it did like it. So that is a complete assignment. All right, state capitals. Okay. Oh, we need to take all of this information and get it formatted like this, right? Well, these look like various titles, right? So I know that's a heading. So HR tags, HR1, HR2. And then we have italics, and we have populations and stuff. All right, cool. Let's see. And then they have this nice little format for us. So it's already formatted pretty close to what they want us to do, right? Let's go ahead and look at that assignment again. It looks like there are, I'm just going to add these, I'm going to add the top level tags first, right? So I'm just going to go ahead, and I know that I want state capital. It looks like there are 2 breaks here. I know that I want this to be bold. Oh, that's really annoying. Okay. So I have a bold tag, 2 line breaks, and I know that this looks like a all right. So I've got that. I know that I have, it looks like a paragraph here. All right, so I've got a good little paragraph, and I'm probably going to want to add a BR to each of these. Okay, well, let's see my progress so far. So remember, this is code, so you can actually just run it as you go along. All right, cool. Well, I've got that part kind of in a state similar to what I want, right? There's some stuff in here that I'm not too happy with. I don't like the fact that this is so small. So let's see if I can make this larger. Well, let's just see what HR6 does. It said that HR6 was the smallest, so let's see what well, there's really no difference there. So let's see H1. I think that I was getting the tag wrong. Because if I go here to my docs, right, and I go to HTML tags, I can see, yeah, so I was getting the tag wrong. So H1 is really what I was looking for, was those that H1 tag, not HR1. It's H1. So let's see again. So state capital. See, that's actually exactly where I want it to be now, right? There's a lot of line breaks right here. So let's see if maybe I just needed one. That still looks a little bit big. That looks like about what it wanted. Okay, so, and then let's do, if we're looking at this, that looks like a size down, and then that looks like a size down as well. So let's just go ahead and do Alabama as an H2 tag. And then I saw that Montgomery was, all right, so Montgomery is going to be italicized, and there's a break here, but I don't know if that'll be taken care of by the heading. So let's just go ahead and try it this way first. So italicized Montgomery, Alabama, and let's go back and run our code. Okay. Yeah. This is looking pretty good, guys. I'm pretty excited about this. So we've got to do some bold here. So let's go ahead and just do bold. Oh, but I don't want the whole thing to be bold, right? I just wanted population to be bold. And then the number is going to be a normal number. And then same thing here. So that's going to be another B tag. And right here, I'll end that. So this is very similar. So what goes on in the background of something like Word is a lot of this process, right? We have to use tags like this because computers can't, they don't really know what an italic is, right? So we have to give them some way of interpreting that. Now remember, guys, you shouldn't do this all in one go like this. This is for you guys to enjoy and to kind of learn something new, right? By the end of this, you guys will be able to make your own websites, and you guys will be very good at it. So you guys will be able to make some really cool stuff, and we'll even explore how to make our own website. So just stay tuned for that. But first, we have to acquire these skills. All right, so I feel like Alabama is pretty good. All right, that looks pretty good. So I'm just going to throw this horizontal rule on here, and we'll see if that is able to call it a day. I would say that that is pretty done right there. So all I have to do now is copy these things, right? So I just need to copy all those things. I'm just going to go ahead and throw an H6 on this. An H6, and I'm going to bold it too. We're just going to end the bold and then H6 that. Okay. All right, so we've got that, and let's just see how that looks. Oh, that looks pretty good. That looks like what I want, right? Yeah, that's looking pretty close to what I want down there. Okay, so I'm just going to go ahead and throw the paragraphs on here, just for my own sake, and I'm going to add some spacing so that I kind of understand what things are, because sometimes it can feel really jumbled with all these tags next to each other. I know when I first started reading HTML, I couldn't interpret any of it because I didn't know any of the tags. Okay, and we're gonna throw, okay, so there should be a line under each one. So then another paragraph tag there, and then let's do another horizontal roll. Okay, and then all we really need to do is we need to copy each of these tags, and we need to add add them to each of these, so I'm just going to do this way. If you guys have a keyboard, I might suggest this, because I really hate deleting all of these end tags that pop up. Like these auto-populated end tags are really obnoxious. So I'm just going to copy each of those things. Because we want them to all be formatted the same way. That's also important here. So and then one more bold tag here. This may seem really tedious, especially coming from a text editor, right? But they're just not. Those tools exist on the internet now, but the bones of the internet itself are built in things like HTML. So if you want to be good at manipulating the internet, you really need to be able to read these tags and to be able to interpret what they mean. Because when you look at the source of a page, it's going to be written this way. Oh. I have to turn my AC off because it's too loud when it's on, so I'm a little sweltering right now, but I'll be done here in a second. Alright, and then I've just got to add the BR tags. I'm just going to type those. Well, actually, this is the easiest one to copy paste. Alright, let's see what it looks like. That's looking pretty close. Let's see how upset it is at me. Submit and continue. Oh, hey, cool. So we have our 3 B tags. We have 3 B tags, 3 I tags, and 3 horizontal lines. Cool. Hey, we got our formatting badge. That's pretty cool. I didn't even think about that. That's awesome, guys. So congratulations. So, I don't know. Let's see. Continue. Alright, so we got our first badge. Congratulations, guys. So this next one... Oh, this page is not found. Let's go back. So this is lesson 4 that we're about to start on. So I'm actually done for the day. So if you guys have any questions about this, please let me know. And I hope that you guys can join me next time when we go live through the next 3 parts of the assignment. As you guys are doing this, if you look at your course, right? If I go through and I go to my student view, you guys are going to see that you are reaching these different achievements as you go along. So as you see, our next badge is going to be after 4.8, so that's pretty exciting. We're already 21% of the way through web design. One thing is that we're going to be doing this project later, but as you guys are... if you guys are curious, right, go ahead and go and do JavaScripts and variables, because JavaScript, so HTML kind of designs what the web looks like, but JavaScript is what's behind the more powerful operations. So a lot of the games that you guys like to play are actually being coded in JavaScript these days. So if you want to make your own video games, your own web-based video games, you can actually use JavaScript to do it. So I encourage you guys, if you have some extra time, go work on that stuff. Remember, nothing in this class is graded. I hope that you guys have a wonderful day, and I will see you next time. Let me know if you have any questions. Remember that I also have individual office hours on Tuesdays and Thursdays. On Tuesdays, it's at noon, and then on Thursdays, it's in the afternoon, so it's between 3 and 4. So send me an email or send me a message or however you need to get in touch with me. I hope you guys have a wonderful day. Goodbye.